whole city going crazy. Whole city going crazy. Top 5, no debating. Top 5, top 5, top 5. And the whole city rate me. And I'm back inside the matrix. And I said that we would make it. Aim squad with some traders.
Tell everybody about RAWE Recruits. Jerome Reed also going to talk high school football with us, but give everybody an introduction. Tell everyone about RAWE Recruits, and you guys do a great job, and let everybody know exactly what you do there at RAWE Recruits.
For sure. What's up, everybody? Jerome Reed with RAWE Recruits. It stands for Reaching Athletes with Education. Our goal is twofold. On one side, we aim to be a service that helps local students, student athletes get their name out, get the word out about what they're doing in their sport. But also in the classroom, we have to let these kids know that it takes balance on both sides to really make it to that next level of what they want to do. So we create skill tapes, send them out to different coaches in an effort to help them get their name out. But also, on the other hand, we serve as a sports news service for the area. We started out in basketball for the last 2 years, really heavy in that sport. And this season, we've been fortunate enough to dabble in football, dabble in volleyball a little bit. We even done some baseball and softball in the past. So we're looking to just keep growing, keep elevating, and seeing what God has in store for us.
And we will partner with RAWE Recruits once a month, I believe. They'll have video out here, and we're looking forward to working with you guys. So tonight we decided to talk high school football.
Right. Yeah, it looks like we were just talking during the break. It seems like you guys are at a game. Like, we had a game every night this week. I think you guys saw a game every night, didn't you?
Yeah, we definitely tried to do our best to get out there. If I had to start off with any team, my number 5 would be, our number 5, the Columbia Tigers. 3-2, won their first 3 games, but had a 2-game skid as of late, allowing 42 and 48 in their last 2 games. But in the game we saw, their home opener, actually, they beat GHS, Gainesville High School, 52-34. One thing that's really stands out, their running back tandem, Tion Dollard, Kylan Callum. Tion Dollard scored twice in the first half, 3 total that game. Hurdler, really hard to take down, can muscle it through the middle, really like his poise coming off out of the backfield. Kylan Callum got in for 3 scores as well that same game. So when they're combining, when they're really running through everybody, it's just hard to stop. It's really hard to stop them. On the defensive side of the ball, Jalen Brown, S.L. McCall, they really can penetrate that offensive line, get in for the sack. They just challenge you. They really, really challenge you. Even with the losses, 28 and 24 points respectively, they still don't ever fold, even when they meet a really good opposition. Another name that I want to point out, Andrew Heaton, had an interception in the end zone, had a couple of pass breakups. Tracy White had an interception that game. You want to talk about another one, Ethan Umstead had a fumble recovery for a touchdown. They just really have some playmakers. I really like what they're doing over there at Columbia.
And they're coached by Brian Allen, who played football at Florida State, also played in the NFL. He's got a defensive background, played defense in college and in the NFL
and
too.
Their schedule is
brutal.
Yes. And 2 games in 4 days last week, again against Lee and Madison County on the road, state-ranked teams. That's just tough. It's tough to do that. So yeah, their schedule is.
And guess who they got this week?
Trinity Christian.
Trinity Christian.
4-1 Trinity Christian.
Oh, man.
At home, though. At home. They might get something out of that.
4-time defending state champions, Trinity Christian. Yep.
Oh, God.
That's right. They've tied the state record, right?
Yeah.
So.
All right, who's number 4 on your list?
Number 4, we'd have to go with the Hawthorne Hornets. They're 3-0 right now, but 41 and 46 in their last 2 games. We've been fortunate enough to see them twice this year. We saw them play against PK Young early in the season, and most recently against Bell High School on the road. If I had to pick out anybody, Justin Wright. Justin Wright is one of my favorite players to watch this year, one of the best 2-way athletes I've seen on both sides of the ball. In both of these games combined that we've seen, he's had a pick 6, a forced fumble, 4 touchdown catches in the last 2 games that we've seen him play in. So we definitely think that he's capable of taking it to that next level. On defense, some names to look after: Cecil Brown, Keyshawn Williams, Alfonso Williams, who also had a pick six against Bell. 3 picks in total between the 3 of those people. Defense is extremely stingy. If we want to go back to offense, Devin Lawrence, a solid running back, strong as an ox, great person to talk to as well. Breakaway speed, doesn't surrender to a solo tackle.
Too regularly lately. Yeah.
For sure. Khalil Jackson as well, their quarterback. He reminds me a little bit of Cam Newton as far as when he scrambles out of the pocket. Obviously not the size just yet, but I like the way he uses his body, really uses that stiff arm pretty well. I like what he's doing over there.
And his dad is the OC, Willie Jackson, former Gator.
Right. And of course Cornelius Ingram there. that program already is making strides with CI as the coach. It was really struggling. He's got Hawthorne back there and winning consistently.
And I will say this, too, because Hawthorne went to Bell and beat Bell pretty handily, 41-14. And the reason that's significant is because Bell just went to Mayo Lafayette and almost pulled the upset. They lost 14-12, so that might speak more towards Hawthorne and how good they could be this year. And as you mentioned, they're off to a good start, 3-0. And Hawthorne will be playing against Keystone Heights coming up next. I think that's definitely a winnable game for them. But then they got Union County. I think that'll be a tough matchup.
What's the Union County running back's name?
Charles Strong. Yeah, he's going to Florida State.
And he's strong.
Yes,
that last name is not a lie.
Last week in their game, I never got an official total. I'm not sure if Larry Savage put anything on the Gainesville Sun, but I saw where he had, I believe, 292 yards rushing in their last game.
It's going to be tough for him. It's going to be tough. Who do you like in that game, Union County versus Hawthorne?
Next week, right? Yeah.
Yeah, because they got Keystone first. I can't remember where that Union County game is at, but
I think it's in Lake Butler. Last year, Union County, I believe, beat them in Hawthorne. It was like a 1 or 2 point game. So yeah,
let me look
close.
at my cheat sheet here.
But no, that's what it was.
Pull out the graph paper.
Yeah,
pull it out,
Hawthorne is at
Lake
Union
Butler.
County.
The Dixie County Bears,
Right.
5-0, the best stat that I've seen. They've only allowed 33 points total on defense. You're talking about less than a touchdown per game.
One of those was Trenton. They beat Trenton up.
Yes.
Very good. Usually a very good Trenton team.
Exactly,
That was an impressive win.
The game we saw, it was against Union County, speaking of, on the road, 20-7 right after the hurricane. Hope everybody's doing well after that, of course. Aaron Dawson, I like his game. A great tackle breaker. Great defense. Eli Bray is a name to look after. He had a great sack in that game. On offense, if you're talking about blocking, not even just running, passing, but blocking, James Smith, great at that in that game.
Okay. Number two,
I'm going to have to switch my paper back real quick. Madison County Cowboys, 5-0 in the last 3 games.
They are legit.
Yes, they are legit.
And that could be your state semifinal, Dixie County, Madison County in 1A. So, yeah, that could be a game we might see later in the year. But you're right, Madison is they've had some impressive wins already.
We'll definitely be at that if that happens. 54 points, 42 points scored in the last 3 games. They have a high potent offense. The game we did see of them earlier in the year, they beat Newberry on the road, 47-14. Trey Adams, their quarterback, he can really air it out. I like his arm. He did throw a pick that game. Has to be a little bit more aware in that sense, but I do like his arm. He has great strength.
And Madison County has Denellen this week.
Speaking of crazy schedules,
matchup of unbeaten.
They play only one 1A team this year, and that was Williston. And they beat them the week before. I mean, how often do you see a 1A team beat a 7A team? That just happened. And they beat them by 2 touchdowns. I mean, Madison County, they've got to be the favorite to win the statewide. Pahokee will probably be there again, but yeah, down south. But by the way, Pahokee played an 8A team. Vero Beach this past week. Only lost by 13.
Wow.
So those are some really good 1A teams. But as you mentioned, Denellen, a 5A team. Madison will play everyone.
What do you think about Visanta Allen, their running back from Madison County? Tough runner, really can break away if he hits that outside corner edge. Not necessarily the quickest back that I've seen, but he can definitely get away from you if you let him.
I haven't seen them. I'd like to see Madison County at some point. They sound like an impressive team, as I read. So.
Definitely worth the ticket.
Recruits is our guest. We're at Sonic Drive-In, located in Gainesville. We got to get to another break, our final break, and we'll come back and wrap things up. Talking high school football with Jerome Reed of RAWE Recruits. Back with his number one right after this. Jerome, who you got number one?
Number one, the Vanguard Knights out of Ocala,
I haven't
Florida.
seen them yet. Marty got a chance to see them,
Twice.
but I haven't seen them yet.
Yeah, we've seen them twice as well. They posted 3 shutouts out of their 4 wins. Marquez Glover, their quarterback, really poised in the pocket. 1 rushing touchdown in each of the 2 games that we've seen. 6 passing TDs combined in the 2 games that we've seen. Leonard Manuel, I was speaking to a scout during the Buchholz game.
Yes.
Said he's the best wide receiver in the state right now.
He's a sophomore, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah.
We
Sophomore.
We know.
Really good basketball player, too.
Yes, sir.
That's right.
Played for AAU Thunderstruck a couple of years
Yeah,
back. Really good
Vanguard
with that
State semifinals last year. Yeah, he's a heck of an athlete. Big guy, fast. Yeah.
team. Exactly.
Only a sophomore.
The defense, really slippery people. They really like to poke at the ball, so you got to hold on to it when you play them. 3 fumble recoveries in the 2 games that we've seen. Byron Hadley has had 2 of those. 1 of those have been taken back for a touchdown. Dabari Jank is another name to look after. Punt return TD in the Buchholz game. 2 interceptions in the South Lake game. Devontae Krim, Corey Thomas, 2 other guys who can go out and get an interception if you really need it. The defense is really active on the line. Gavin Pate can come in and sack you at any given moment. Devin Edwards, another TD, running back for them during the South Lake game. He actually called out Miami Central. Called them out saying, hey, we're ready for you. We got a little bit of heat on that on Twitter.
They might get them.
Hey, Miami Central, they came out the woodwork to respond to that, and I feel like they're just as ready as well. So that'd be interesting to see if it really happens down the road.
They are impressive, and Marquez Glover, he was our Sonic Player of the Game for the Buchholz and the North Marion game, 2 games. It's funny, you lose a quarterback like Nkosi Perry, who almost started at Miami, and they haven't skipped a beat. Glover might be better. He's a senior, and you're right, 3 shutouts in 4 games. They're rolling, and a team that legitimately had a chance to get to Orlando last year just missed out on it.
All right, that's we're out of time, folks. Thanks to Kevin Rizzo for producing. Thanks for Jerome Reed of RAWE Recruits. For Marty Paulman,
Thank you.
I'm Mike Rideout. You've been listening to the Prep Zone. We'll see you Wednesday night from Ocala.